Big exciting news as there's new talk that the new Biden administration will ask for the Social Security Administrator, whose term is actually longer than a presidential term, to submit its resignation upon this January. This would ensure that Biden puts in place increases for Social Security. All day long, I've been detailing that Biden wants to put as much as a 20% lifetime increase for your Social Security benefits. Mitt Romney, the Republican senator, wants to increase Social Security as well. This is in addition to the $200 per month that you could be getting on SSI, Social Security, and railroad benefits, $2,400 at least, now to the end of 2021. So what is Mitch going to be saying about this as Republicans want to increase Social Security as well? Incredible great news across the board, and this is Being a Mitch. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Being a Mitch with incredible great news as Republicans and Democrats singularly are both trying to increase Social Security, SSI, and SSDI benefits across the board, whether or not it has to do with the COVID or not. They've been dealing with this issue for a while, and then now they believe this is the time to do it. Incredible great news. More, I'll be going over Mitch's comments today because you've been asking about it, and my response to them as well. Boy, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do, because I'm the only channel that's really keeping you in focus on where we're going forward, not where we're going backwards, There's a way to just sort of sit back and think about much of nothing, and then there's also a way to get from point A to point B. And boy, the followers of this channel are not just getting from A to B, they're getting to C. Also, like this video, because you've been doing an incredible, great job about that. 5, 10, 8, 12,000 likes of video today. Absolutely incredible. In this video, I'll be going over what's going on with the Social Security Administrator, why Biden's expected to ask that person to resign, appoint a new one to get teed up. The three increases for your SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits when he comes in. And these are incredible benefits. Some of them could kick in before he even comes in. Others would kick in thereafter. More, I'll be going over what Mitch's remarks were today and why you should not be worried about them. And then I'll be detailing Mitch and Joe and the interaction about them and why some people are a little bit jealous about it. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that someone's jealous about it. Someone is jealous about Joe and Mitch, and someone's very jealous about the reporting of this channel. And you know who that person is. On Friday last week, I detailed to you that Mitch McConnell is the new chief negotiator for the Republicans, no longer Steve Mnuchin. That was last Friday. Then on Saturday, I told you that Joe Biden is the new chief negotiator for the Democrats, not her. And sure enough, by Sunday, the New York Times was confirming the exclusive reporting of this channel. Then by Monday, nearly every broadcast channel was talking about Joe and Mitch and Joe and Mitch and Joe and Mitch. That Joe and Mitch are negotiating. How do they negotiate? First of all, let me just go over that very quickly. Joe can talk to anyone on the phone he wants to. He can talk to the hairdresser in San Francisco if he wants to talk to. He can talk to anyone. The only people who write bills are legislators, not presidents and not cabinet members. They write the bills, they introduce the bills, they vote on the bills. And if the president wants a bill or the president-elect wants a bill, anyone can pick up the phone and say, hey, I think you should write this bill. Go write the bill. Okay, I'll go write the bill. And then introduce it, get it done, and get it voted upon. That's how things get done. And by Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, virtually every broadcast channel was talking about Joe and Mitch. Yesterday, before the YouTube outage, I unloaded a really detailed video that explained the history between these two people. In no less than 2 sentences, let me explain the following. Joe Biden has been a senator since 1973. At age 30. He has been in the Senate longer than, YouTube has ever existed. And Mitch McConnell has been a senator since 1984. Mitch McConnell has served 6 terms, I think, or 7 terms. This is his 7th term coming up. So he would be only one of 6 senators in history that have ever served that long. They have worked 1,000 hours together on countless bills. Then comes Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They're the new kids on the block. And so they want to do things a little bit differently. Well, guess what? They're no longer the lead negotiators. And what they want to do is get a lot of airtime so that they get book deals, so that they appear on the Voice, and not the Voice, the Few. Oh my God! Imagine her on the Voice, the Masked Singer. And so you heard today a lot of crazy chatter, and I'll explain what that is about in a second. I want to turn first back to your stimulus. Joe and Mitch will be getting stimulus done, and Mitch has already indicated that stimulus is first and only top priority. Joe has said it's his first priority in his statements released over the weekend, his transition statements, and since then in subsequent statements, Joe says, "I will be needing multiple stimulus checks as so needed until this pandemic goes away," and he has also said, "We will do as many bills as we need until we're done and blue in the face." This is a true senator by heart. You don't hear people who come from Wall Street talking about this. This is a senator who writes bills, who's written bills since age 30, who wants to do a lot of bills to solve the situation. The great news is multiple stimulus checks. The great news is stimulus checks to get you through this pandemic. The great news is continued stimulus checks through this lockdown. The great news is that he's going to put back in hazard pay. He's going to put back in EIDL grants and EIDL loans. He's going to put in $200 a month additional for Social Security beneficiaries, SSDI, SSI, and Social Security beneficiaries, and veterans, all the way to the end of 2021, at least $2,400. He's going to put in a 20% increase lifetime for Social Security beneficiaries. And then there's her. What is she going to give you? None of that. She's going to give you none of that. So today she appeared on some, I don't know where, that podium she stands behind. And she talked about, guess what? Everything she talked about is not Joe Biden's plan. You're not the number 1 Democrat in the country, honey. And she literally got up there and talked about 2.2 or 3.4 or 4.1 or 4. Every single thing in her plan is not Joe Biden's plan. She's not talking about multiple stimulus checks. She's talking about a $500 stimulus check that lasts you for 2,500 years. She's talking about no hazard pay. She's talking about no EIDL grant. She's talking about nothing for Social Security, nothing for that $200 add-on. She's not talking about the 25%. Do you think he's going to agree to anything she's doing? No, So why is she doing this? I don't know. I'm not here to psychoanalyze wacko news. And that's wacko news. It's literally crazy news. She's literally standing up talking about a bill that the president-elect, who is the number 1 Democrat in her party, doesn't even agree to. So remember those days in which we would laugh when she said, "My caucus is aligned." Okay, currently your caucus is misaligned. Your rationale is misaligned because he's not even doing what you're doing. So go over there. Go over there. We don't want to hear from. So if you have comments about she said this, yeah, it's wacko. It's wacko. I've dealt with wacko. Let's get back to reality. Okay, let's deal with Mitch's wackoness. If you don't know how Mitch deals with wackoness, is he responds with wackoness, and that's what he did today. I'm going to be wacko back to wackoness. And so he talked about, I'm going to do just this much stimulus, like this much stimulus. That's what Mitch does, is he sort of threatens people. If you don't know, he has a long time history of scaring people during negotiations. He did that during the Obama administration. He said, if you don't do this, you're going to be a one-term president. It's very well documented. And he's done that to Joe Biden. So I want you to be prepared that being a Mitch is going to include, this video series will include covering or not covering his constant ability to threaten people to do exactly what he wants or else. And that's what he does. So I don't want you to think, oh my God, that's all I'm going to get. No, that's the way he negotiates. He threatens people by telling them their political future's over and telling them that unless you do this, then, bye. So let me deal with some good news and some great news, which is the Social Security add-on is actually something that Mitch's party wants to do. He won't tell you this, but Mitch's party wants to do this add-on. Mitt Romney, once again, a Republican, who actually wrote the hazard pay bill for the Republicans, uh, you know, also wrote the bill for Social Security as well, wants to solve Social Security as well. The issue of fixing Social Security is not a just Democratic platform. And this 20% increase for Social Security lifetime, at least 20% more for widow and widowers. That's the first thing. Increase of your an annual step up additionally for all Social Security beneficiaries based upon the CPIE, which is not the benchmark currently, and also the $200 a month, which would just be a COVID-19 issue that expire late next year, $2,400, is not out of the ordinary because guess what? Mitt Romney wants to do stuff like this. Mitt Romney had said in recent interviews, I'm quoting CNBC, that he sees an ongoing Congress to address Social Security and other safety needs. Romney has proposed a bill called the Trust Act to form bipartisan committees that could be set up with solutions to fast track changes to fix the funds for Social Security, Medicare, and the nation's highways. With each passing year, it's become harder and harder to maintain the core of self-financing. So Biden's plan is $200 a month during the pandemic to the end of 2021, then 20% additional lifetime, upwards of 20% lifetime, then an additional step up every year based upon the cost, not based upon COLA, but based upon the CPIE. It's another thing for me to remember. And then finally, you have the issue about the Social Security Administrator. The Social Security Administrator, Andrew Saul's 6-year term expires in 2025. He's a Trump appointee. But Biden could ask him to resign or allow him to run out his term. It's believed that if Biden does not get what he wants, which he will ask the administrator to step aside. This is incredible, great news. So as we turn to Mitch, what would Mitch agree to? Mitch would agree to increasing Social Security benefits. Mitch would agree to refunding Social Security. Mitch would agree to increasing Social Security benefits even for COVID-related issues. The issue is how much. Everything costs a certain amount. $200 per month, $2,400 a year. That's not a lot. That is not a lot of money. It's not a big threshold on the national debt. So let's go to the other. So you're asking my opinion. Here's my opinion. I believe Mitch would agree to the 20%, to the $200 per month add-on for Social Security and SSDI and SSI and Social Security and railroad benefits all the way to the end of 2021. I believe he agreed to it because it doesn't cost a lot of money. Next, hazard pay. Would he do hazard pay? Yes. Would he do $10,000 hazard pay? No. Would he do a small hazard pay? Yes. Next, would he extend unemployment benefits? Absolutely. He says he wants to do it. Would he extend PUA and FPUC and UI? Absolutely. Would he extend them into April? Sure. I see no reason why not to. Would he give FPUC at $600 a week? Absolutely not. Would he do it lower than $600 a week? Yes. Would he do it higher than his $300, which he proposed? I believe he would. I believe it would land somewhere around I believe he would do $400 a week. I mean, what's the difference? $100 a week. It's not a big difference on the national debt. Next, would he do an eviction moratorium continuation? Yes. A mortgage forbearance continuation? Yes. Neither of those things really cost, neither item cost anything. Would he do state and local bailout? This is quite interesting because the Republican state and local bailout that they'll do is where the money goes to essential workers being paid to the state and then they pay it to the essential workers. It's slightly duplicative of hazard pay. So it's sort of like you're saying, okay, hazard pay, we want a hazard pay for fire and rescue, but then we also want state and local where it's paid to fire and rescue. It's a little bit contradictory. And I think that Mitch may say, hey, you can't have both of the same things at the same time. He has said, Mitch, in the last 7 days, I will do state and local, provided it's narrowly tailored, which is, like $200 billion, and it goes to people, not to fund the states, which is what Joe wants to do as well. Next, how about the stimulus checks? How many stimulus checks? Mitch has always said he'll do stimulus checks. And yet you all know that every time he has a bill, it's just sort of not there. Mitch does that a lot. He will say he will do something and suddenly it's not there. He said that about eviction moratoriums. He said, I would do eviction moratoriums, and it wasn't in there. He appeared on national news saying it's in his bill coming in 48 hours, and then you open the bill and it's not there. It's literally not there. It's not quite clear why he does this. And viewers have always asked me, why does he say something and then suddenly it doesn't happen? Not particularly clear. The next question is, how big a stimulus check will Mitch do? And hence we get to that CARES Act 1 money. Mitch would absolutely categorically do what I've been pushing on this channel for and what you should be pushing. That $800 billion approximately of CARES Act 1 money that is currently sitting at SBA. If it doesn't cost him a penny to send out a stimulus check, of course he's going to do it. That's exactly what he likes. What his entire focus, his entire mindset is based upon, not increasing the national debt. That's the only thing he's focused on. And if you get that out of the equation, like using money that is already out of the already spent and just repurposing it, it's like giving him a plate of lobsters. It's as simple as that. And that's why we remain on focus to getting things partisan push, and we remain detached from just pettiness and just silliness. There was a reason why I called her the Temple of Doom and first gave her that name somewhere in August, because I personally could not deal with her fake narratives on a daily basis, her talking about stuff. And now when she's trying to talk about a bill which is no longer even relevant, is a bill which does not embody the wishes of the president-elect, who is the number one person in her party, not her, then why should we spend any time talking about her or him? Rather, we should focus on what Joe and Mitch agree upon and getting us to the finish line. With that, if you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up next is Stream of Stimulus, where I go over what Wall Street's reaction is to stimulus. And boy, that's all that Wall Street said today. Also, go to the Fun channel and subscribe. Subscribe because we're getting through this pandemic together, and we're adding about 1,000 new subscribers a day. Also, like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in LA for more.